A high-risk meeting is about to unfold in Washington, with the Middle East watching closely. As nuclear talks with Iran hang in the balance, the option of military action is back on the table. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are set to face the hardest questions yet. Diplomacy is still alive, but the threat of force is never far behind. The shadow of war looms over Washington as President Donald Trump prepares to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The threat of renewed military action against Iran is expected to dominate the talks, coming at a moment when diplomacy is hanging by a thread and tensions across the Middle East are dangerously high. Netanyahu is expected to press Trump to widen the scope of nuclear negotiations with Tehran. For years, Israeli leaders have warned that diplomacy alone may not be enough to stop Iran's march toward a nuclear weapon, and that time is rapidly running out. The high-stakes meeting comes on the heels of indirect talks between the United States and Iran, an effort to revive negotiations over Tehran's nuclear program. While Trump has called the discussions very good, deep divisions remain, and the path forward is anything but clear. Iran, meanwhile, is sending its own warning. Tehran says Washington must decide whether it can negotiate independently, or whether Israeli influence is shaping U.S. policy in ways that undermine diplomacy. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghai said the United States is Iran's negotiating counterpart and accused outside pressure of harming regional stability. He stressed that Iran remains committed to diplomacy, but only under calm conditions, without threats. Baghai also revealed Iran was willing to remain at the negotiating table for consecutive days if talks showed genuine progress, saying recent discussions were meant to test the seriousness of the U.S. position. Still, Iran has been clear about its red lines. Officials insist negotiations will focus strictly on nuclear issues and nothing beyond that. Israel sees the stakes differently. Ahead of his Washington visit, Netanyahu said he would present Trump with Israel's principles for dealing with Iran, signaling a tougher posture and fewer compromises.
I am now leaving for the United States for my 7th trip to meet with President Trump since he was elected to a second term. This does not, of course, include his unforgettable visit to Israel and his speech in the Knesset. I think these things reflect the unique closeness and the extraordinary relationship that we have with the United States, and I personally with the President, something that has never been equaled in our history. On this trip, we will discuss a number of issues: Gaza, the region, but of course, first and foremost, the negotiations with Iran. I will present to the President our ideas about the principles in the negotiations, the important principles, and in my opinion, they are important not only for Israel, but for everyone in the world who wants peace and security in the Middle East.
I think there's an extraordinary alignment between Israel and the United States. Everyone would love to see something that would resolve without war, but it'll be up to Iran. They insist on holding nuclear weaponry and enriched uranium, and I think the President's made it very clear that's not acceptable.
Our negotiating party is America. It is up to America to decide to act independently of the pressures and destructive influences that are detrimental to the region. The Zionist regime has repeatedly, as a saboteur, shown that it opposes any diplomatic process in our region that leads to peace.
In a high-stakes nuclear gamble, Iran is signaling a possible compromise even as it draws a hard red line. Iran has hinted it may be willing to dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, but only if all sanctions imposed on the country are lifted. The signal comes from Mohammad Eslami, head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, who told reporters on Monday that Tehran could show flexibility on U.S. demands, including Washington's long-standing call for zero uranium enrichment. Islami said Iran could consider diluting its 60% enriched uranium, material that is close to weapons grade, in exchange for a complete end to sanctions. He did not clarify whether the offer applies only to U.S. sanctions or also to restrictions imposed by other countries. The comments come as Tehran makes clear it will not abandon enrichment altogether. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has flatly rejected the idea of zero enrichment, even under threat of war.
Why have we insisted so much on enrichment and continue to do so and are unwilling to abandon it even if war is imposed upon us? Because no one has the right to dictate to us what we should possess and what we should not possess. This is fundamentally based on the principle of rejecting foreign domination. It is my inherent right to pursue enrichment in full accordance with the law. It is my decision whether I choose to exercise this right or not. I want to address all of you who are attending this session today. If there is any question or any ambiguity concerning the objectives of Iran's peaceful nuclear program, we will provide answers. We will clarify all doubts. And the only way is through diplomacy. I have tried other paths, but they yielded no results. And negotiations will only succeed when the rights of the Iranian people are fully acknowledged and properly respected. We must be able to exercise our own rights. We don't need anyone to recognize our rights. Our right is legitimate. Our right already exists. We simply demand that our rights be respected. This Congress, by the efforts, the offer, I believe the secret of the power of the Islamic Republic of Iran is in this very ability to stand firm against bullying, domination-seeking, and pressures from others.
They are afraid of our atomic bomb. We are not pursuing an atomic bomb. Our atomic bomb is the power to say no to the world's great powers.
Araghchi stressed that Iran's insistence on enrichment is not just technical or economic, but about national independence and dignity. These statements come amid soaring regional tensions. The United States has recently deployed additional naval and air assets to the region, while repeatedly warning that military action remains on the table. At the same time, Washington and Tehran are holding indirect talks in Oman, contacts Iran has described as a good start. Relations between the two countries deteriorated sharply after failed nuclear talks last year, followed by a 12-day war between Iran and Israel, a conflict that ended with U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Washington says those attacks inflicted serious damage. Tehran insists the impact on its enrichment program was limited. As diplomacy and military pressure collide, Iran's message is clear: no zero enrichment, but possibly a deal if the sanctions disappear.
In the international arena, the Islamic Republic of Iran has consistently emphasized diplomacy based on mutual respect and shared interests. We believe that engagement and dialogue are the only sustainable path to addressing regional and global challenges. Any negotiation grounded in international law, dignity, respect for national sovereignty, conducted from an equal position and based on the win-win principle is acceptable to and welcomed by us. The new round of nuclear negotiations, which has begun in Oman with the assistance and support of our neighboring countries, represents a very good opportunity for a fair, logical, equitable, and mutually acceptable resolution of this issue. We seek to secure our rights under the Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, including in the area of enrichment, as well as the removal of unjust sanctions. The Islamic Republic of Iran, for its part, is taking steps toward the success of this process and hopes that the other side, without excessive demands, will remain committed to its obligations so that a desirable outcome can be achieved.
Our message to the world is clear. Iran is a country that stands by its commitments, provided that it also witnesses sincerity and adherence to obligations on the part of others. The Islamic Republic of Iran extends a hand of friendship to all countries seeking sincere cooperation. Iran's economic, transportation, and knowledge-based capacities provide a suitable platform for multilateral cooperation.
These demonstrations are unparalleled in the world. We know of no other place in the world where, after so many years, a National Day and Independence Day is celebrated every year in this way, with such massive popular gatherings across the entire country, allowing the people to express themselves. Today, the people of Iran, by marching in the streets, show their stance and force those who covet Islamic Iran, the Islamic Republic, and the interests of this nation to retreat. National power depends more on the will and perseverance of the people than on missiles and airplanes. And you, thanks be to God, have demonstrated this steadfastness and will. Show it once again in various arenas. Disappoint the enemy. As long as the enemy is not disappointed, the nation will be exposed to harm and aggression. The enemy's despair comes from your unity, the strength of your reason and will, your motivation, and your steadfastness in the face of the enemy's temptations. These are the elements that constitute national power. 22 Bahman is the symbol of all these things. The day when everyone comes into the streets, chants slogans, speaks the truth, and declares their solidarity and loyalty to the Islamic Republic and the people of Iran.